Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen wa salatu wa salamu ala Sayyidina wa Nabiyyina Abil Qasim Muhammad wa ala alihi at-tayyibin at-tahirin alladhina adhhaba Allahu anhum ar-rijsa wa tahharahum tathhira. We're going to talk about Prophet Dawood and Prophet Sulaiman. Okay. Two great prophets and the kings also at the same time. Okay. I think, did we go through how he became the king, Dawood alayhi salam? Okay. So in Surah Baqarah it's mentioned. Okay. Talut was appointed as the king by Prophet Samuel, as he called him. The Quran does not mention his name, but Quran says that when the community came to him and asked him to appoint a ruler over them, verse number 249 through, وقال لهم نبيهم إن الله قد بعث لكم طالوت ملكا. Okay. قالوا أن يكون له ملك علينا ونحن أحق بالملك منه ولم يؤت ساعة من المال. And the community said, when Israel said to the Prophet, how can he be a ruler over us when he doesn't have the money? When he doesn't have the money. How can he be ruler over us when he doesn't have the money? Okay? And the Prophet replied, قال إن الله اصطفاه عليكم. The Prophet said, Allah has chosen him over you. وَزَادَهُ بَسْطًا فِي الْعِلْمِ وَالْجِسْمِ. And he has given him abundance of knowledge and bodily power. وَاللَّهُ يُؤْتِي مُلْكَهُ مَنْ يَشَاءُ. And Allah gives the mulk, the domain, to whoever He wants. وَاللَّهُ وَاسِعٌ عَلِيمٌ. And verily, Allah's knowledge and the extent of it is unlimited. وقال لهم نبيهم إن آية ملكه أن يأتيكم الطاغوت فيه سكينة من ربكم وبقية مما ترك على موسى وعلى هارون تحمله الملائكة إن في ذلك لآية لكم إن كنتم مؤمنين. Okay. The Taboot. Okay. That is containing. Taboot is a chest or a cupboard, whatever you call it, that contains the remnants of both Musa and Harun. Okay? And whatever their special things were are contained in there. And Bani Israel, whenever they used to go for a battle, would keep that in the front and be victorious. Eventually it was lost. Okay? And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala returned to them when Talut was established as the ruler, as a sign of his acceptance by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Okay? Going to a battlefield. Okay? Talut said to his army, Bani Israel army, okay, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is going to test you with a stream, okay, with a river. Okay. فَمَنْ شَرِبَ مِنْهُ فَلَيْسَ مِنِّي. Whoever drinks from it would not be from me. وَمَنْ لَمْ يَطْمَهُ فَإِنَّهُ مِنِّي إِلَّا مَنِ اغْتَرَفَ غُرْفَةً بِيَدِهِ. Okay, only a handful of water, that's it, not more. فَشَرَبُوا مِنْهُ إِلَّا قَلِيلًا مِنْهُ. And they all drank except a few. Okay. فَلَمَّا جَاوَزُوا هُوَ وَالَّذِينَ آمَنُوا مَعَهُ قَالُوا لَا طَاقَةَ لَنَا الْيَوْمَ بِجَالُوتَ وَجُنُودِهِ. Okay. When they went to the battlefield against Jalut, Goliath, as he's called, okay, they said, we don't have the energy to fight, except that small group who had obeyed Talut and drank only a handful. And here is something that must always be kept in mind. قَالَ الَّذِينَ يَظُنُّونَ أَنَّهُمْ مُلَاقُو اللَّهِ. Okay. Those who believed that they would see their Lord said, كَمْ مِنْ فِئَةٍ قَلِيلَةٍ غَلَبَتْ فِئَةً كَثِيرًا بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ. How many times there is a small group is able to overpower a large majority, okay, بِإِذْنِ اللَّهِ, with the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَاللَّهُ مَعَ الصَّابِرِينَ. And verily, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is with those who are patient. Okay. وَلَمَّا بَرَزُوا لِجَالُوتَ وَجُنُودِهِ قَالُوا رَبَّنَا أَفْرِغْ عَلَيْنَا صَبْرًا وَثَبِّتْ أَقْدَامَنَا وَانصُرْنَا عَلَى الْقَوْمِ الْكَافِرِينَ. Here is the whole story, okay, that Daud was the one who had 3 stones, okay, and all 3 stones were hit, and the guy Goliath was killed. Okay. The story is in Bible also, with certain different flavors. Okay. Jalut is Palestini, as they call him. They call him Philistini. PH is used there. Okay. Philistini. Those local people who were there. That is the key. When Israelis have come there, but they were local people, and their leader was this general. Okay. Very strong. Okay. And was killed by a slingshot of Daud. The army dispersed, and Bani Israel were victorious. It is said that Talut married one of his daughters to Daud. By some accounts of Bible, he wanted later on Daud to be killed. Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. Okay. Daud has been mentioned 16 times in Quran. How many? 16 times. Not once. 16 times in Quran. Okay. And his various, remarkable traits are mentioned in Quran. Okay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has talked about his piety, his goodness, his virtues, okay, his knowledge, and his praise of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Zabur, okay, is actually the Psalms, as they call it, Hebrew. Okay. These are the collection of his prayers, according to them. And according to us, also a collection of prayers and his advices. Okay. And he was a person that, when he prayed, birds joined him, animals joined him, and it seemed that the mountains joined him, the plains joined him. Okay. Wherever he prayed, okay, it seemed that the whole surrounding with him prayed. Okay. And now, what does the Bible say about him? Unbelievable. Okay. When he became king, I'm just going to quote a few things, not everything. Okay. Those of you who want to get further should get through jewishlearning.com. Okay. First thing is that they say that he might not have killed Goliath. Okay. That's the first one. David is perhaps best known for fighting, killing giant and Philistine champion Goliath with a slingshot, a suitable, awesome feat for the future king of Israel. But the Bible betrays some doubt about who deserves the credit. The second book of Samuel stated it was a man named Ilhan, rather than David, who killed the giant. Okay. that David did not kill him. The book of Samuel 1 and 2 gives a detailed story of this. Just a quote here. It says he was both a hero and anti-hero. A man of profound contradictions. He is described as a man after God's own heart and a bloodstain of hell by another. The word Satan is used in the Hebrew Bible to describe David as an adversary. He is depicted as feigning madness in a cowardly attempt to avoid the wrath of the king of Philistines, and he carried off the wife of a man named Nabal after shaking down. That's one. David was a stud, they say, especially for women. And a killer. King Saul, they said, killed thousands, and David 10,000. And now, I'm sorry to say this, it's not one of our beliefs, but this is what is from Torah. David might have been bisexual. I'm just reading it off. Okay. I'm not going to read the whole paragraph because it says so many things that I don't want to utter a word of it. David, yes, Prophet Daud. And then it says, David's story is so scandalous, it has to be censored, full of scandals. Chock full of sexual violence, passion, scandal, dysfunction, and outrageous moral excess. David is mentioned more than 1,000 times in Bible. Okay. But this is the mention that you see. Then the worst thing. We saw a woman taking a bath. Sent her husband to fight and then grabbed her. It is said that Imam Ali in his reign said that anyone who repeats this story would be punished twice. Okay? One for assigning a lie, okay? And second for distorting Islam. But Islam considered Dawood to be a prophet of Allah. And Allah's prophets are sinless. The whole story is very sexual, but, what can you say? This is what they present about Dawood. Okay? And what Quran says about Dawood. Okay? So Swat, okay? This is the beauty of Quran and the teachings of Islam. When the Prophet ﷺ is facing a lot of problems from the mushrikeen of Makkah. Okay. And he's under a lot of pressure. The revelation comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Isbir ma yakulun. O Prophet, okay, have patience on what they say. The infidels. Okay. Wadhkur abdana Dawood. Surah Swat, verse number 17. 17. Okay. Isbir ala ma yakulun. Wadhkur abdana Dawood zal aid innahu awwab. Okay. Remember our servant Dawood, who was the best of best. Okay. Inna sakharna al-jibal ma'ahu yusabbihna bil-ashyi wal-ishraq. And we made the mountains subservient to him. Ma'ahu yusabbihna bil, and they'll make tasbih of us, okay, day and night. Okay. Wat-tayr, and the birds. Okay. This is Dawood. Mashuratan kullullah, all of them praying to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَشَهَدْنَا مُلْكَهُ وَآتَيْنَاهُ الْحِكْمَةَ وَفَصْلَ الْخِطَابِ. Okay. And we increased his domain, okay, and gave him hikmah, wisdom. Okay. وَفَصْلَ الْخِطَابِ. Okay. Now here is the story that they have missed. Okay. Okay. وَهَلَتَاكَ نَبَلُ الْحَسَمِ إِسْتَسَقَّلْ. Dawood had prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, wanted to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to test him like he had tested Ibrahim and Musa before, so that he's raised higher in his station. Okay. So he had made a place, a mihrab, okay, place of worship, where he would worship himself, okay, uninterrupted by anyone else. And his rule was that no one is going to come here when I'm praying, okay, when he was praying privately, rather than when he was praying outside. Okay. So once he was praying, okay, and two persons come in, okay, and he's taken aback because the door was closed and they came in. So they said, don't worry, we have come to you to seek your opinion. Okay. And they put a question to him. One of them puts a question to him. Okay. He says, I have one lamb, okay, and my brother who is with me has 99. Okay. He wants me to give him my lamb also. Okay. And Dawood remarked, he's doing injustice to you. Okay. Now here is the key. What Dawood said was right, not wrong. But he did not hear the other party out. For a person to make decisions, okay, you need to hear both parties. You cannot make a unilateral decision. Okay. This was just for him, okay, and he realized that he made a mistake. Okay. وظن داود أنما فتناه فاستغفر ربه. Okay. فغفرنا له. This is a verse of sajda. It's not wajib sajda. Okay. And he prayed to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. He realized that he has made a mistake. They left. When they left, he realized that he has made a mistake. Now this episode in Bible is that a prophet or a spiritual leader came to Dawood after he has taken that woman who was one of his commanders or soldiers' wife. Okay. He already had wives. You had many. Why you had to get him killed and get his wife? But that's not true. That was not the story. The story was this. Okay. And Quran says, فَغَفَرْنَا لَهُ ذَلِكَ. Okay. And we forgave him. Okay. The judgment was right. Judgment was not wrong. Okay. What was wrong was that he didn't hear both parties. Judgment would have been the same. Okay? Sometimes, because we have another episode in this, that his son Sulaiman gave a verdict also, and that verdict was better than his father's verdict. Okay? Both were good, okay, but one was better and longer lasting. Okay? Not going into detail. Okay? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, Ya Dawood, inna ja'alnaka khalifatan fil ardh, fahkum bayna an-nas bil haqq, wa la tattabi' al-hawa. Okay? We have made you our representative in the earth. Okay? Decide between people with, haqq. Okay? So this is what Quran says about Dawood and his life. Okay? And this is what Torah says. Okay? The scandals, and many of them attributed to him. Okay? Then they come to something different. And they said that he is the first figure in the Hebrew Bible for whom we have archaeological evidence. Nothing confirms the existence of patriarchs, matriarchs, Joseph or Moses or Saul. किसी का वजूद नहीं. He is the first person. Okay. For the first time, David is in fact a flesh and blood figure. Now, who is Moses? Who is Aaron? Who is Abraham? If he is the first one who existed, how about others? Okay. And Quran says, we gave Noah our message, and then his children. Okay. Mentions Ibrahim, min shiyati Ibrahim. Okay. And Quran talks about their children. Okay. Then Quran talks about Joseph. Okay. His father Jacob. Okay. All these prophets are talked about. Are these myths? It says the only flesh and blood existence is of Dawood. Why he married that woman is a question. In those times, right from Adam to the time of Dawood, when a woman's husband died, no one ever married her. As still in cultures, okay. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wanted him to break that tradition. So he broke that tradition. Not that because of lust, passion, or greed. Dawood's son is Sulaiman. I just want to make sure that we complete Sulaiman also today. Okay. Dawood ruled for about 40 years. Okay. Sulaiman is his son. And Sulaiman is born in the royal family. Okay. And by the way, that woman that we talk about is the mother of Sulaiman. She was a very pious woman, God-fearing, okay, patient. Okay. And Allah chose her to be the mother of a prophet. She was not indulging in sins. The mothers of the prophets, okay, those who carry the prophets in their wombs, okay, are the best of best. Okay. How could you imagine, okay, that a woman who has to carry the prophet would be like that. Okay. So Daud has married her, and Sulaiman is born. But in Surah Swad, okay, 38th Surah of Quran, okay, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions, okay, Sulaiman also, okay, وَلَقَدْ فَتَنَّا Sulaiman وَأَلْقَيْنَا عَلَى كُرْسِيِّهِ جَسَدًا ثُمَّ أَنَابَ, okay, verse number 34, okay, and earlier that we gave a blessing to Daud, okay, in the form of Sulaiman, okay. وَوَهَبْنَا لِدَاوُدَ سُلَيْمَانَ نِعْمَ الْعَبْدُ, best of best. Quran, when talks about prophets, okay, uses language that's extraordinarily beautiful, okay. Their virtues, okay. Every word you go through, it tells you this comes from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is not a man's creation. Okay. Sulaiman is Namlan. Innahu awwab. Okay. Sulaiman is preparing to fight the infidels around. Okay. And these two, one after another, were able to establish the kingdom of God on the earth at that time. Okay. Daud and Sulaiman. Daud had a desire to build a big mosque. They call the temple, the first temple, but it was completed by Sulaiman. That's why they attribute it to Sulaiman. Okay. Sulaiman becomes the king. Okay. He becomes the king. Okay. When he becomes the king, okay, he consolidates the power, of course. Okay. They say that a younger brother, once again, it is in Torah, not in Quran, and not in our text. Since Daud had many wives, okay, he had other sons. Okay, and one of the sons tried to, grab the power, to kill Sulaiman and get the power. He failed. Okay. Sulaiman pardoned him. Yeah. He made an attempt second time. And this time, Bible says that he tried to marry one of the wives of Daud, which would be his stepmother. Okay. For that crime, not for overthrowing Sulaiman, he was put to death. That's what Bible says. We don't have any mention of this in the Islamic literature at all. Neither in the Quran, nor in our tafsir. Okay. Maybe some Israeliyat may have mentioned it somewhere, but no. Sulaiman becomes the king. Sulaiman is mentioned 17 times in Quran. One of the most mentioned prophets in Quran, 17 times. Okay. A couple of times with Daud. Okay. In Surah Baqarah, second Surah of Quran, verse number 102, he is mentioned. Okay. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's blessings are on him and those before him. Okay. He is also mentioned in Surah Nisa. Okay. Surah Nisa is the fourth Surah of Quran. Surah Baqarah is the second Surah of Quran. Okay. In Surah Baqarah it says, وَاتَّوْا مَا تَتْلُو الشَّيَاطِينُ عَلَىٰ مُلْكِ سُلَيْمَانَ. If you recall that. مَا كَفَرَ سُلَيْمَانُ وَلَٰكِنَّ الشَّيَاطِينَ كَفَرُوا يُعَلِّمُونَ النَّاسَ السِّحْرَ. Okay. That story of, Harut and Marut. Okay. That's mentioned in Quran, and that's the time of Sulaiman. Okay. It's mentioned in Quran. Okay. Those two who came, Malak who came to ask questions. This is verse number 102, Surah Baqarah, second Surah of Quran. By the way, this verse is very important to remove the ill effects of magic. रद्द सहर के लिए बहुत मौजू है ये. In Surah Nisa, the fourth Surah of Quran, verse number 163. Surah Nisa is the fourth Surah of Quran, verse number 163. Surah Baqarah, second Surah, verse number 102. This is 1,000 years before Christ. Almost 1,000 years before Christ. Yeah. Surah Nisa is the fourth Surah of Quran. The verse number 163. إِنَّا أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ كَمَا أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَى نُوحٍ وَنَبِيِّينَ مِن بَعْدِهِ. We have revealed to you the way we revealed to Nuh and the prophets after him. وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَى إِبْرَاهِيمَ وَإِسْمَاعِيلَ وَإِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ وَالْأَسْبَاطَ وَعِيسَى وَأَيُّوبَ وَيُونُسَ وَهَارُونَ وَسُلَيْمَانَ وَآتَيْنَا دَاوُودَ زَبُورًا. Okay. So here a series of prophets are mentioned, and within them Sulaiman and Dawood both are mentioned. Okay. إِنَّا أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْكَ كَمَا أَوْحَيْنَا إِلَى نُوحٍ. Okay. We have revealed you the way revealed to Nuh and the prophets after him, Ibrahim, Ismail, Ishaq, Yaqub, Isa, Ayub, Yunus, Harun, Sulaiman, and Dawood. Dawood separately, وَآتَيْنَا دَاوُودَ زَبُورًا. And we gave, Zabur to Dawood. وَرُسُلًا قَدْ قَصَصْنَا عَلَيْكَ مِن قَبْلُ وَرُسُلًا لَمْ نَقْصُصْ عَلَيْكَ وَكَلَّمَ اللَّهُ مُوسَى تَكْلِيمًا. Quran is mentioning the prophets and the revelations to them before our prophet. Okay. This is Surah Nisa, verse 163. Surah Anam, sixth Surah of Quran, verse number 84. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala talks about his prophet here. Okay. وَوَهَبْنَا لَهُ إِسْحَاقَ وَيَعْقُوبَ كُلٌّ هَدَيْنَا وَنُوحًا هَدَيْنَا مِن قَبْلُ وَمِن ذُرِّيَّتِهِ دَاوُودَ وَسُلَيْمَانَ وَأَيُّوبَ وَيُوسُفَ وَمُوسَى وَهَارُونَ وَكَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي الْمُحْسِنِينَ. All these prophets are mentioned again. وَزَكَرِيَّا وَيَحْيَى وَعِيسَى وَإِلْيَاسَ كُلٌّ مِنَ الصَّالِحِينَ وإسماعيل ويسع ويونس ولوطا وكل فضلنا على العالمين ومن آبائهم وذرياتهم وإخوانهم واجتبيناهم وهديناهم إلى صراط مستقيم. Allah, all these prophets are on the right. We have guided them to the right path. So he's mentioned here also. Then in Surah Anbiya, 21st Surah of Quran, Surah Anbiya, 21st Surah of Quran, verse number 84. Once again, so many prophets are mentioned in this surah because it's Surah Anbiya, the Surah of Anbiya. Okay? And one after another, the prophets are mentioned. Okay? Throughout this surah, this Anbiya, okay, you see the mention of prophets right from 78 onwards. وداود وسليمان okay. إذ يحكمان في الحرث إذ انكشت فيه غنم القوم فكنا لحكمهم شاهدين. This is what happened when there was a fertile field, okay, and next door was a guy who had herd of sheep, and the sheep went and destroyed the field, okay, and they made a decision. They are mentioned here, okay. Again, Sulaiman is mentioned, verse number 81. ولسليمان الريح عاصفا تجري بأمره إلى الأرض التي باركنا فيها وكنا بكل شيء عالمين. What happened is Sulaiman was given the power over winds. Okay. His whole army was carried by wind. A distance of 1 month, okay, in 1 day. Okay. The whole army. And this is where we come to the most important of Sulaiman's episodes, is in Surah Namal, and then in Surah Saba. Okay. Surah Namal is 23rd Surah of Quran. Allahu Akbar. Sulaiman has power over wind, and the army is full, riding over the wind. Namal 27th Surah of Quran. Okay. The mention of Sulaiman, verse number 15 to 18. ولقد آتينا داود وسليمان علما. Verse number 15. ولقد آتينا داود وسليمان علما. We gave knowledge to Dawood and Sulaiman. وقال الحمد لله الذي فضلنا على كثير من عباده المؤمنين. Okay. And both of them said, وقال is used for two. Okay. Alhamdulillah alladhi faddalna ala kathira min ibadihi. Glory be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, praise be to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has given us fadila over his others mu'mineen. Waratha Sulaiman and Dawood. Okay. And then Sulaiman inherited Dawood. وقال يا أيها الناس علمنا منطق الطير وأوتينا من كل شيء إن هذا لهو الفضل المبين. We have been given the tongue of the birds, which meant that he could understand what the birds were saying, what the animals were saying. وحشر آل سليمان جنوده من الجن والإنس والطير فهم يوزعون حتى إذا أتوا إلى واد النمل. This is the most important part of this surah. قالت نملة يا أيها النمل ادخلوا مساكنكم لا يهتمنكم سليمان وجنوده وهم لا يشعرون. Okay. They came the valley of ants. Okay. And an ant, okay, told her fellows that go in your digs. Okay. Because I see Sulaiman coming with his army and he may crush you. وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ, they won't even know. The army is coming, ants are there, who's going to remember? And here is the beauty of Quran talking about a prophet. فَتَبَسَّمَ ضَاحِكًا. He smiled. Sulaiman heard it. Just imagine what level of knowledge Sulaiman had. Okay. Suppose you are in a stadium, as I sometimes say, okay, and a person speaks. What are your chances of hearing it? Stadium is full of people. How many ants would be in a colony? Hundreds of thousands. And one ant spoke. One bee spoke. What are the chances of anyone hearing it? And Sulaiman is at a distance. Because if Sulaiman is on them, they are already crushed. The ant has heard Sulaiman coming from a distance. Do you think animals don't know things? Aren't aware of things? And Sulaiman has heard it. فَتَوَسَّمَ ضَاحِكًا مِنْ قَوْلِهَا, on her saying. وَقَالَ, and he said, رَبِّ أَوْزَانِي أَنْ أَشْكُرَ نِعْمَتَكَ الَّتِي أَنْعَمْتَ عَلَيَّ وَعَلَى وَالِدَيَّ وَنَعْمَلَ صَالِحًا تَرْضَاهُ وَأَدْخِلْنِي بِرَحْمَتِكَ فِي عِبَادِكَ الصَّالِحِينَ. Oh Allah, give me the tawfiq, and there's no better word for it. And ashkur ni'matak allati an'amta alayya. That I may be thankful for your blessings that you have bestowed on me. Wala walidayya, and on my father. Wa amala salihan tarda. And so I act piously, that you would accept. وَأَدْخِلْنِي بِرَحْمَتِكَ فِي عِبَادِكَ الصَّالِحِينَ. And by your mercy, enter me in the ranks of your pious slaves. Okay. Beautiful verse, beautiful dua, something that can be repeated in qunut, okay, and something that should be repeated otherwise also. Okay. This dua's verse is 19 of this Namal, okay. Surah 27, verse number 9. Surah number is 27, Namal. Okay. The verse is 19. Okay. The tafsir says something beautiful. That he, Sulaiman, was able to pick up that particular noun, that bee, that ant, okay, from the millions. An-Namal. That one. From millions, he picked up that particular one who had uttered those words. Yeah? ये अम्बिया की शान है जो कुरान के अंदर है, और वो अम्बिया की तहकीर है जो वहाँ है. कौन सी किताब है जो अल्लाह से आई है? मैंने आपको लूत के बारे में बताया, बहुत चीज़ें मैंने बताई है, ठीक है, लेकिन आप यू शुड रीड इट. ओके. इन द सेम सूरह Sulaiman is mentioned again. Okay. The Surah Namal. Okay. And here it mentioned about that empress of Saba. Okay. Saba is a kingdom on present-day Yemen, okay, where one of Nuh's sons, Jashan, went and stayed. Okay. Hudhud, a bird, is not present in the court of Sulaiman. And Sulaiman admonishes, why is not there? Okay. He was a ruler. Better you have alibi, otherwise you're going to be punished. Okay. So he said, I was flying and I went to a place where people were worshipping the sun. Okay. And the ruler was a woman. Okay. And describes, okay. إني وجدت امرأة تملكهم وأوتيت من كل شيء ولها عرش عظيم. Okay. And for her is a big throne. وجدتها وقومها يسجدون للشمس من دون الله. Of course, they were worshipping the sun. وزين لهم الشيطان أعمالهم. Of course, Shaitan has made, their acts beautiful. فهم لا يهتدون. And Sulaiman says, okay, if you say the truth, okay, I'm going to send a letter. اذهب بكتابي هذا فألقه إليهم ثم تولى عنهم فانظروا ما يرجعون. Okay. The letter is sent. Okay. These are continuous verses from 30 to 36 of Surah Namal. No, this Surah Namal. He's also mentioned in Surah Sabah also. But this is in Surah Namal. Okay. Surah Namal 27. Surah Namal is Surah number 27. And verse number 30 through 36. Okay. The whole story is there. Okay. The letter is received by the Queen Sheba, as she's there, called, and she reads the letter aloud to her court members. إنه من سليمان وإنه بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألا تعالوا علي وأتوني مسلمين. There are only 2-3 lines in this letter, not more. Okay. Accept the faith and come to me. In the name of Allah, it begins with. Okay. What should I do? The queen asked them. And they say, we are strong, can fight back and all that, نحن أولو قوة وأولو بأس شديد والأمر إليك, and the decision is yours. Okay. And then she says something which is so full of experience. قالت إن الملوك إذا دخلوا قرية أفسدوها. Whenever kings enter different places, they destroy it. When the victors enter, they destroy it. Okay. وَجَعَلُوا أَعَزَّ أَهْلِهَا أَذِلَّةً. And they make those who were prominent, okay, into garbage. أَذِلَّةً. Okay. وَكَذَلِكَ يَفْعَلُونَ. And that's how they do it. Okay. So what she does, she sends the hadiyah, and you know the whole story. Okay. In the verse number 44 of the same surah. Okay. But before that, Sulaiman tells his court, okay, after returning all the gifts that had come, okay, that who can bring her arsh, her throne here. And the jinn says, I can bring it one day from Yemen to Jerusalem. Okay. But the one who had the wilayah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, okay, Asif Barkhiyar, okay, he says, I can bring it before your eye flicks. And right there, the throne is there. So she has left from Yemen to visit him. Her throne is still in Yemen when she has left. And when she reaches here, she sees the throne. Okay? She accepts Islam, and both of them are engaged in preaching, and Quran talks about it. Okay? So that's one. In Surah Saba, which is 34th Surah of Quran, verse number 12. Sulaiman is mentioned. وَلَسُلَيْمَانَ الرِّيحُ وَالضُّحَى شَهْرٌ وَرَوَاحُهَا شَهْرٌ وَأَصَلْنَا لَهُ عَيْنَ الْكِتْرِ وَمِنَ الْجِنِّ مَنْ يَعْمَلُ بَيْنَ يَدَيْهِ بِإِذْنِ رَبِّهِ وَإِنْ يَزِغْ مِنْهُ عَنْ أَمْرِنَا نُذِقْهُ مِنْ عَذَابِ السَّعِيرِ. Again, Quran talks about those shayateen that were put in service of Sulaiman to build. Okay? And they say that these jinns build big pots for the food to be cooked for that huge army that Sulaiman had. Okay? And the temple that was built, as they call it, actually it's mosque. Okay? But here Quran talks about his death. Okay? And that is something that I want to end at. Okay? فَلَمَّا قَضَيْنَا عَلَيْهِ الْمَوْتِ مَا دَلَّهُمْ عَلَى مَوْتِهِ إِلَّا دَابَّةُ الْأَرْضِ تَأْكُلُ مِنْ سَأْتِهَا. Okay? Quran says that I am going to overview what you are doing. In the balcony, he is standing, okay, with a staff in his hand, okay, asa in his hand, okay, and he is there. No one should come to me. Okay. Angel of death comes. He says, who has come? Israel says, Ana Malakul Maut. Okay. Okay. Can I sit down? No. Okay. His soul is taken away while he's standing. While he still remains standing. Okay. And people keep on working. Okay. Days pass, weeks pass. Okay. And they say, oh, he's looking. Usually the bodies degrade after death, decompose after death. But here he is standing, not moving, standing in the same position. And they're afraid of him, of his power. And they keep on working. And it takes a year. Okay. Allahu Akbar. And termite, okay, starts eating the wooden shaft. And he falls down. As the shaft crumbles, he falls down. And then they realize, okay, that he has died. Okay. So, this is the story of a king, a ruler, a prophet, okay, and someone, these father and son, they asked for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's, favors, and they have been given the favors, no doubt about it, okay, particularly Sulaiman, okay, Surah Sad, okay. مَا دَلَّ لَهُمْ عَلَى مَوْتِهِ إِلَّا دَابَّةٌ فِي الْأَرْضِ. Verse number 14 of Surah Saba. Okay. The 34th Surah of Quran. Where his death is mentioned. The earlier verses are where his power over jinn and others have been mentioned. In Surah Swad, Bilqis. नहीं. In Surah Swad, 38th Surah of Quran. Salam praise to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. رب اغفر لي وهب لي ملكا لا ينبغي لأحد من بعدي إنك أنت الوهاب. Okay. Oh Allah, give me a domain, okay, that you would never give to anyone else after me. إنك أنت الوهاب. You are the one who are utmost provider. Quran answers, فَسَخَرْنَا لَهُ الرِّيحَ تَجْرِي بِأَمْرِهِ رُخَاءً حَيْثُ أَصَابَ وَالشَّيَاطِينُ كُلَّ بَنٍّ. This has been mentioned earlier also in Surah Nahl and Surah Saba. Okay? But here is something. هَذَا أَطَاعُنَا. This is our gift to you. Okay? فَمْنُنْ أَوْ أَمْسِكْ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. It's yours. If you want to give it to anyone else, give. If you want to stop, stop. Okay? That's the beauty of divine providence. Okay? That when he gives, okay, if he gives you with that authority is not given to everyone. No. Okay? Okay? Ata. Okay? When an ta is used, is for gift that is unending. Okay? And when alif pe is used, okay, it is given and taken away. When the Prophet has been given Kawthar, okay, the word and pa is used. Inna a'tainaka al-Kawthar. Unending, never ending, okay? Abundance that knows no bounds. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad. This finishes our discourse on, Prophet Dawud and Sulaiman. Next week, inshallah, we'll talk about Prophet Isa, and then we'll talk about our own Prophet.